Hello again. In this video, what we're going to be doing, we are going to be doing a combination of things. We are going to, let's set it up. Say, for example, I have this image here, and what I want to do, I want to focus the viewer's attention on the chalk drawings. I would like the chalk drawings to be nice and vibrant. So I already have this vibrancy, so I'm going to use this one where let me go ahead and double click on this. I'm going to increase the saturation. But what I want to do now is I want to limit my image in that I only want the chalk drawings to be in color and everything else to be in black and white. How do we do this? We're going to do this right now. In order to make this happen, what we need to do is we need to use a selection tool because we need to select all of the area around our chalk drawings. What I want to do, I want to introduce a different selection tool. This is underneath the lasso tool. I want to use the polygon lasso tool. Now, with the polygon lasso tool, the way that you use this tool is just to show you a sample. You click once, it puts down like a point. You click again, and again, and again, and it's going to put down points. What you're able to do, if you put a point that you don't want anymore, you can press backspace or delete on your keyboard, and it gets rid of the last points. Now, with this tool, you have to exit this tool before you go to the file menu because you'll continue to adding points. I see sometimes students trying to do that. If you want to cancel this, you press escape on your keyboard. It cancels the creation. Before you start creating that shape though, where it says feather, right now it's set to 0. If we leave it at 0, it's going to give us a hard edge. So I want to increase this. I want to say maybe let's go a small feather. I'm going to guess we'll try 5 and see how that works. So first step, I'm going to zoom in. I'm zooming in, and I'm just going to click all the way around the chalk drawings. Now it doesn't have to be a perfect selection, but I want to be able to select the area around it. I'm pressing and holding down the space bar so that I can move my screen, letting go of space bar, and then resume clicking, holding down space bar. So I want to go all the way around. I could still zoom in with Command or Control plus. So I'm going to go across right here. I'm going to zoom out, Command minus or Control minus to zoom out. And I'm just selecting this area around my chalk drawings. Because the idea is we're going to use a black and white filter, but we're not going to make our chalk drawings black and white. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to make everything else in our image black and white. So the last point, if I move my cursor to the very first point, you see that little circle in the bottom right hand corner. This means it's going to complete the selection. Or wherever your cursor is at, if you just press enter or return on your keyboard, it will create your selection. I'm going to press Command or Control 0 to zoom out, and you can see that this area has been selected. Now, what we want to do though, we don't want to affect the color in this area. We want to affect the color on the outside of our image. So we have to kind of switch this selection around. Good thing in Photoshop there's a method of being able to do this. If you go into the File menu and go to Select, we want to inverse this selection. There is a keyboard shortcut. It's a Shift Command I or Shift Control I. We're going to switch it. I'm going to select it now. And now what you notice is that on the outside of your entire image, if you can't see your entire image, press Command or Control 0 to zoom out. And we see the marching ants, the selection. But then on the inside, kind of think of this as this area is not selected. To give you, to show you what I'm talking about, for example, let me go ahead and let's create an empty a layer. And let's go to our brushes. Let's create a large brush. And I'm just using black, my default color. And as I click and drag, you can see that the only area that's being affected is everything except the chalk drawings. Now I don't need this layer here, so I'm going to go ahead and just delete it. I'm going to drag this layer to the trash can. But since we have a selection right here, and this time if we notice how all of our layer adjustments were created without a selection, so as a result we have these all our layer mask are completely white, meaning that affect the color on the entire layer. But this time, since we're supplying a selection and we go to our layer adjustments and we're going to go to black and white, what's going to happen is that if you look at your layers and you look at the layer mask, you can see that the area that we initially selected, which was around the chalk drawings, we inversed it. So basically that area is not selected. The entire image is selected. And what we're able to do here, uh, under the black and white properties, there's always different types of defaults that you could go through, but let's just go to the default. Using the color information within your image, you're able to change how dark or light that color range is going to be. For example, the reds within my image, if I lighten this, you can see how different parts of my image is becoming lighter. As I darken this, it becomes lighter or darker as well. So I might just want to leave it in the defaults because I want to zoom in here. I just want to point something else out. If you look closely, uh, you'll still see that there is some color information within my image here. That's because this area is not being affected. What I could do is I could, once I have this layer right here, I can move this to the top layer or create another layer underneath it and try to remove some of this color cast. Or I could just make a more detailed selection, only selecting the chalk drawings, which I could do as well. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this one as is. Yeah, I'll leave it like this. I'm going to minimize this a bit so we could see more. Command or Control 0 to zoom out. And this is how you're able to only affect a certain area of your image. Here, I'm out of curiosity, I do want to create, I'm going to select the vibrance layer that's located underneath it. And I want to create another, I am going to try to use the color balance to see, no, this is not going to be it. Let me not use a color balance. I believe maybe using a hue and saturation so that looking at some of the colors that we have right here, I want to see if it's, now I don't want to bring down the saturations of just reds, but I could see that there's lots of red within the image. So, or even changing the lightness. Now I want the vibrancy of the reds, that's why I like it there, but I do see that there is some reds. Let me zoom in so you can see it. Especially right here, you can see that change. It's not so subtle. But if I drop this down a bit, it kind of removes a lot of it. Let's try the magentas as well. You know what? It might be the magentas. I can maybe bring back the reds. But this is a way that you're able, yeah, I could bring back the reds. There we go, is a magenta. Well, it's still the red as well. There we go. I'll go with that. So this is a way that how you could use Photoshop with the different tools to be able to really change the color information. So let's see. At this point, what I want you to do is we are going to go over, I still need to create another video of how to get your file ready for submission. See you in that next video.